Morning, welcome to this week's vlog. It is Wednesday at 8:45, so unfortunately this is not an entire weekly vlog. My reason for that is Monday and Tuesday this week are the two busiest days of my entire working year. There's like 4 days which are the busiest, and this is 2 of them, right? So it has been very busy. I have worked right through since last Monday. So this is day 9 of working in a row. And by working in a row, I mean like Saturday and Sunday were full on days. So I'm feeling a little bit worse for wear now, not gonna lie. The 2 days I've just had, the last 4 days, to be honest, have been very physical. And my body is, she ain't happy. She's crying. Like when I got back yesterday, everything hurt. Everything was aching. Like my whole body, it was just horrible. So I did fall asleep on the sofa for a little bit, and then thankfully Stuart made dinner. And then I had a bath, and to be honest, that has helped, I think. But yeah, I'm not feeling 100%. And I think my urticaria is playing up. So if you don't know, urticaria is like hives. And I've been suffering, I've had it since like 2015, but I'm kind of in a flare since last August. And the back of my neck keeps feeling like it's coming up there, and then this eye, like right here. So I am allowed to take extra antihistamine on days when I'm having a flare. So I'm wondering if I should maybe do that. But I only just took my morning one, like, I don't know, 40 minutes ago. So I feel like maybe I should leave it to let it kick in. So these are the thoughts that plague my Wednesday. So today I'm working from home, if that wasn't obvious. So there are things I need to get done today. I've got a couple of meetings, but not too many, thankfully. And I'm totally not dressed for them, but whatever. The person who's running the meeting I have later, so one's just a one-to-one with one of my team, so whatever. I can wear anything, but later on, the meeting I have is being run by someone who's been with me at the events I've been at for the last couple of days, so I think he'll get it. But yeah, so I have a few bits I need to get done. I haven't been in the office properly for a few days, so I think I'm going to have emails to catch up on. And then let me run you through the rest of the week, and then I'll let you go. So I'm also working from home tomorrow. To be honest, I need some time off. I can like really feel that my body is not going to cope much longer. I've got a lot better at recognizing when my body is like absolutely reached its limit, but often I realize that too late before I've like got time off. So yeah, and also like there's stuff happening at work, and I don't really know that I can take time off. But anyway, so have that. But I am off on Friday. But I have my first CVT session, which is at 8 a.m. Why did I do that to myself on a day off? Saturday, we don't have masses of plans, but Stuart will be getting his hair cut. And I'm kind of hoping there is this place that I found out about it on Instagram, but it's like quite near us, like a couple of towns away. And they have like a sale once a month on a weekend where you can get like 70% off the books in their warehouse. And that falls this weekend. So I'm kind of wondering if I can convince Stuart that we can go. Not that I need any more books, but I'm sort of wondering if we could maybe tie it in. And then I think my mum is staying over, and then Sunday we're going to our wedding show at the XL, because I've done most of the big wedding things now, pretty much, but what I haven't done is dresses. And that's fine because it's like over a year until our wedding, but we're approaching the point where we're going to hit a year, which is about when I need to be looking at a dress. And I am still on the fence about what I would like. And so I think I need to be in the room with a lot of dresses just to see what's out there, to try and like see if there's anything that inspires me. So yeah, me, my mum and my friend Emma, we're going to go to this wedding show on Sunday. So that's the plan for the week. I feel like this week I really would like to talk a little bit more about what I'm reading, because I didn't really read last week and I'm getting a bit behind on my reading, and there was books that I was supposed to read as part of Final Book Support Group, which is run by Steph Loves, which is where you try and read final books in a series, and I haven't achieved that. I haven't even achieved the like 5 books that were on the basic TBR I had for that. So in an ideal world, I would finish those this week, which I have 2 days to do that in. But obviously I'm off on Friday, but then often when I'm off, I just film content. So I don't know, we'll see. I'll update you as we go through the week. It's a pretty rough look for a vlog. Sorry everyone, hello, it's Thursday. It's about 6:30. I finished work for the week, and for March, I do not know how I got through it. March is the busiest month of the year in my job, and it just blows my mind that I get through it every year. I spent this afternoon tallying up the number of like activities that my team have delivered for the last, I don't know, since like 2017. And I was kind of amazed at like, I don't know, you just look at the sheer number of like stuff I've achieved in that time, because I've kind of led the team for a lot of that time. And I was like, this is mad. It's kind of cool. But I'm very glad to be done, because something was starting to kick off at work, and I'm glad that I'm not involved in that now. So we have nothing for dinner. And by we, I mean just me. Because A, you're not eating with me, but also Stuart games on a Thursday with his friends. So I'm here alone. I'm all alone. And we're not great meal planners. It's not a skill set I particularly have. And Stuart doesn't really have it either. And in my head was like, I'll just have a Kiev, which is, I really like ham and cheese chicken Kievs, but we don't have any. And it's normally a thing we have in the freezer, but I must have eaten them. So I usually have like that with some rice, but we don't have any. And everything else we have in the freezer needs defrosting, or is for 2 people. And as I say, Stuart isn't here. So there is nothing. We don't even have the big bag of pasta. We just literally finished it yesterday, and I don't want pasta again. I've had pasta every other night this week. So we don't have anything. So have I ordered food for the second time today? Yeah, I have. I had Wenzel's for lunch, and then I ordered curry this evening. And I hear you that it's not great. I don't need you to comment it, but I deserve it. For this month, I deserve it. And then I will get back into a little bit more organisation from tomorrow. So yeah, I have ordered a curry. I have like 25% off Uber Eats, so it's a good time. I want to make the most of this code. So I also need to figure out what I'm going to do this evening, because I've spent so much of March, like I've barely read. You know, reading is like my chill thing, my comfort thing, and I've barely read anything. And I think that's because my brain has just been so wired. I've been dealing with like the change of my channel and things like that, and there's just been a lot on my mind. And I haven't really had that like quiet time, which is something that I was really valuing back in February, and I haven't had it at all in March. And I think I have mostly coped okay for it, but my urticaria feels like it's starting. I feel like my lip is like starting to swell. And I think my body from like tomorrow, because tomorrow is my first day off, though I have to work Monday, and then I'm off like Tuesday to Tuesday, I think my body is starting to crash. So I think I need to try and take it a bit easy. I've spent every free second editing or filming. And I even thought this evening, oh, should I film? No, I'm not going to film. I'm forcing myself to relax this evening. I am going, oh, what an angle this is. Sorry, this is such a wobbly clip, but I'm going to read some more of Astrid Parker Doesn't Fail. I'm only on page 62, which, given that this is one of the books on like my essential TBR for March for Final Book Support Group, we have to get further. I would love to finish it. I don't know that I can read that fast. I'll have about 3 hours to, I doubt I can read this in 3 hours. Who do I think I am? But anyway, ideally I want to try and finish this before the end of March, because this clip is on Thursday the 30th of March. So tomorrow is the end of March, and there's no way I'm going to finish Jade Legacy. I think if I read all day tomorrow, I could finish Jade Legacy, but that's very optimistic. So instead, I'm going to try and finish Astrid Parker, and then I will probably try and read Lore Olympus tomorrow. And then I'll also probably try and film something tomorrow. I'm so cold. I think it must be cold today. I haven't been outside, so I don't know. And I hear you that you may have said, Kat, you could go to the shop to buy some dinner, and I could have done that, but it's cold, okay?
And like the heating in the conservatory switches off at 5 and I was in there until like 6:15. So I think it's just made me go cold. So I'm in my Udi. I was actually sent this Udi by Udi. They sent it for me for free for promotion on my channel, just in a previous video, not in this video. But like if you want one, my code probably still works because I had to keep that video up for like 3 months. So I expect it still works. So you can use my code PLP35 to get £35 off Udi. So, you know, it's a pretty good deal. But yeah, I really like Moody. So, I mean, I'm going to take it off when I eat because if I get chicken korma down this, I'll cry. But yeah, I've got my Moody. I've also got, we got this new bedding from John Lewis the other day. I wanted to make our bed more inviting because our mattress is not comfortable. Our bed is not great. But I don't think we are fixing those right now while we figure out some other things in our house. And so I was like, right, Stuart, can we get some new bedding then to make it like more enticing? And I do actually think it has improved. Like the bedding's really nice. We got a really cute cover. It's a much nicer sheet than we had before. So like, I actually think it's good. But I got this cute blanket in bright yellow. Yellow is one of my favorite colors. Well, it is my favorite color. And I brought that downstairs to snuggle under as well. So I'm going to be super fluffy, possibly too warm, but I think that's maybe better right now than being too cold. And I'm going to try and get through my book and enjoy my curry. And I'll probably check in with you guys tomorrow. Hi, happy April 1st. Not my favorite angle, but I need to charge my phone and so I can't put it on my tripod, and so weird angle it is. Catch you up on what you've missed. Friday morning at 8 a.m, very early, but I had my first therapy session and it was really good. It was so helpful to speak through stuff with somebody. My therapist is lovely and it was just really interesting to speak about some of the things that are going on with me, because I'd put some of what's going on with me down to maybe some undiagnosed things I thought I had. But we talked about perfectionism and she sent me some stuff to read and I was like, everything I thought was related to something else is related to perfectionism, even like really negative traits. So very helpful. It was just a really helpful session. I did have a bit of a cry afterwards just from like overwhelm of like, wow, like people have called me a perfectionist before and I've always seen it as a positive thing. And it was really interesting to speak to somebody about how not all traits of perfectionism are positive and how they can manifest in different ways. It just really opened my eyes. So yeah, really, really pleased about that. My next session is going to be Wednesday next week. So after that, I tried to have a bit of a calmer day because it's one of the things me and my therapist are kind of, I think, going to start working on, is me resting a little bit more. So I read for most of the day. So I read about 250 pages of Astrid Parker Doesn't Fail by Ashley Herring Blake. I was going to say by Delilah Green, but that's the name of the first one, by Ashley Herring Blake. I gave it 3 stars, the same as I gave to Delilah Green, or maybe gave that one 3.5, but I think it's a 3-star. There's something about Ashley Herring Blake's writing where I just don't kind of really get on board with the characters. I'm not really sure what it is. Like I can see that it's mostly well written. I think there was a little bit of kind of unnecessary shoehorning in of some particular language, which I felt was quite distracting at times. But, you know, in the main, I can see why people like it. I absolutely can. Just not for me. Which is a shame, because I'd really like to read the third one as well, because I think the premises of her story is just so interesting. The third one, which is following their other friend Iris, she makes planners for a living. So I will probably pick it up. But the books kind of put me into a mini reading slump. It takes me like half a month to read them, which for like a 350-page romance is unnecessary. So yes, I pushed through and finished that. And then I also read Lore Olympus Volume 2, which was another book that was on my March TBR, and I really enjoyed it. I love the Lore Olympus series. This one was just like 400 pages of pining, like nothing even really happens. I loved it. It was like, I love the art and I love the story. I love the like inner turmoil of Hades and dealing with like how he is gonna kind of, you know, handle stuff related to the age gap between him and Persephone, and I just love it. So it's now Saturday. It's like 9:30ish, I think. And I have filmed my April TBR, which I will probably need to edit in the car. Ideally, I should have posted it at 10 from an algorithm point of view. But anyway, I'll post it at some point. My mum is coming to stay with us this evening because tomorrow there is a wedding show at the XL. So if you don't know, I'm getting married next year. And we've done a lot of the big things. You know, we've sorted cake and photographer and all of that, but we haven't sorted a dress. And that's fine because we're just over a year out. So we're about the time I should be looking for a dress. But I'm kind of on the fence about what I want. I haven't seen that many wedding dresses in real life. And so this is sort of the place that I could think of that would have the biggest collection of wedding dresses. So me, my friend, and one of our best people, we don't have like a maid of honor or bridesmaids or anything. All of our wedding party are best people. One of our best people, Emma, we're going to go to this wedding show and just check it out and see what we think, and try and get some ideas basically, and see if there's sort of anything else that I haven't booked yet that we've missed. So, but my mum's going to stay here because it's just easier for us to travel in together, which means I need to clean the house. Predominantly, in fact, what I need to go and do first is put washing away in that room because she can't sleep in there right now. So that's fine. This is useful. That's what I'm going to go and do, is put the clothes away because we can't make the bed or anything until I do that. My mum is ultimately like not somebody who will judge us if the house is not particularly tidy. So I'm kind of not too worried. I'm not going to do like a massive like top to toe clean because my mum she just won't care. But you know, obviously she needs to be able to sleep in that bedroom. So that's what I'm going to go and do first. I really dislike housework, but anyway, I'm going to push forward and do that. So if I can, I'll film some of it for you. It's Sunday. It's Sunday. This weekend has flown by. What we'd expected to do on Saturday was to go and spend the day, well, spend a couple of hours in St. Albans. But we talked about, I think I spoke about this in the first clip, that the 66 Book Club, which I've seen promoted via TikTok, not even promoted, and we'll get into that, but I've seen reels and stuff promoted through like TikTok and Instagram of this book club in Hemel Hempstead, which is quite near St. Albans. So we kind of had talked about whether or not we would go, and ultimately I thought we decided we weren't going to go. But we then kind of talked about it a little bit more, and Stuart was like, well, I could just drop you off and you could go look around, and that worked a little bit better than Stuart coming, because Stuart exclusively reads on Kindle, so he's got no interest in going to a big book warehouse, so we decided to do that. So if you don't know what this is, the 66 Book Club is basically a big book warehouse, and they sell to trade most of the time, but one weekend a month they open for the general public, and the books are available 70 to 80% off, so super good deal.
And recently a lot of like somebody in the book community discovered it, made TikToks about it, and it's really, really like kicking off through there. And I do have to hold my hands up that I am somebody who found it that way, even though I actually live in the general vicinity. I don't live that near, but I live near enough. I could have found out about it in other ways, but ultimately didn't. So I did find out about it through social media. So I am kind of adding, and by making this video, I'm like adding to the traffic that happens there. But given that we live nearby, we weren't really making a special trip. If I hadn't have got in, I would have just been like, you know, just waiting around for a couple of hours, not the end of the world. So Stuart was like, let's go. Let's just, you know, let's see what it's like. So we get there and there's a lot of cars, like down like it's basically on an industrial estate and there's a lot of cars around. And Stuart was like, right, I'm just going to drop you off because I don't really know what parking's going to be like if we get closer, so you can just get out. So I got there and the queue is like out the gate, right? There's easily 100 to 200 people in front of me. I'm not very good at like estimating that kind of maths, but it was probably more like 200 people in front of me. And I was like, oh, okay. So I'm standing in the queue and I get my book out. I'm reading Hang the Moon by Alexandra Belfler. So, you know, I get my book out, I'm at the back of the queue, I get my book out, and the women in front of me were so cute. They were like, she's so prepared, she's got a book. I was like, we're in the queue for a book place. Like, surely you're a reader if you've bothered to come here. So yeah, reading my book. And one of the guys who works there comes out and he's like, so just to let you know, you may not get in the queue. You may not actually get in the building at this point because everyone has to be in at 4:30. So that's the cutoff point. And they don't have a lot of social media. I think they're more active on Facebook than they are on Instagram. And I don't think they even have a Twitter. But I don't really use Facebook for this purpose. So I hadn't found them on Facebook. I kept checking their Instagram. But basically, even though they're open until 6, they actually let the last group in at 4:30. So he was like, back at this point, you may not get in at 4:30. I just need to tell you that. Like, I don't really recommend you stand in the queue. And I was like, well, at this point, I literally can't go anywhere, right? Stuart's taken the car, and I don't drive. Stuart's taken the car to a different town. So from my point of view, I'd always been pretty chill about it. I was like, if I don't get in, I don't get in. I know we're going later in the day. I've seen from the TikToks and stuff that you have to get there quite early in the day, but people who arrived behind me later on said they'd got there at 12 and the queue was 4 hours long, right? So I would not have been very happy about standing in the queue for 4 hours, but I kind of didn't have anything to lose because I was like, all I'm doing is standing here reading, which is what I could be doing if I'm at home. Stuart had come out anyway. We didn't really necessarily make a special trip. So from my point of view, it was quite low stakes to be there. That was definitely not how everybody else felt. And I'm not going to judge how anybody else felt about it. But I personally was feeling kind of okay. I read 100 pages of my book. It was really nice, uninterrupted reading time. But the guy did keep coming out every 10 minutes or so being like, you may not get in. And this is to everyone. Probably another 50 people joined the queue behind me. So, you know, it was very much like, if you get to the door after 4:30 and the queue moved based on how they did it, right? So you've got people coming out and then they let people in, but it's not even that much of an exact science. They kind of just let people in waves. So it was very much the case of them being like, you may or may not get in. And again, I was pretty chill about that, but I got a lot less chill the less chill the people behind me got, because there was like a group of 5 people who kind of made friends in the queue. And I chatted a little bit with the lady behind me, but you know, I'm not a very social person, so I'm not really interested in becoming friendly with strangers. But these people clearly were. They hadn't brought anything to do, so they're just chatting non-stop for this hour and a half. And they kept saying they would like pretend they were all a big group so that they could get let in. And they were getting quite worked up about the fact that they weren't going to get in. And they were people that I think have been there before, so found it more annoying that it was a lot busier, and it's clearly busier because of the promotion on social media. Like the guy kept saying, he was like, this is because of TikTok, that it's like this. If people keep posting about it on TikTok, people are going to keep coming. So sorry that I'm adding to that, but it's what I did with my week. So I kind of feel like if it being in a vlog, it's also bad. But yeah, so if you do decide to go, please be aware you do need to arrive earlier in the day. If you get there later in the day, what I thought I was doing was going after most people had gone. But actually, I totally wouldn't recommend going at that time, because even if you're chill about it, it gets quite overwhelming about whether or not you're going to get in. People behind me started to kind of push around me, and it was horrible. That part I really didn't like. So I get to the front at 4:26 and I got stopped with like the ladies in front of me got let in, and the guy was like, are you with those ladies? And if I'd been the people behind me, I totally would have said yes, but I was like, no, I'm not. And so yeah, at 4:26 he let me and 9 other people behind me in, and that was it. The door shut at that point. So
I do feel really bad for anyone who was there, but he did very much tell people constantly, I'm telling you, like every 10 to 15 minutes, he was saying, you may not get in. So, you know, clearly they're getting a lot of people who get quite angry about it. I felt really bad for the staff working there. But so I did get in. So I will include some footage now of what it looks like when you are in there. It is literally a warehouse with just rows and rows of books. And you may have seen the like reels and TikToks and stuff about it already, but in case you haven't, it's chaos. It's, you know, and I don't mean that in like I think it's chaos for a consumer, because they clearly have a system. Everything's really well labeled from their perspective, and ultimately they predominantly sell to trade. So it needs to make sense for their picking systems, and that's totally fine. But when you are a customer trying to find anything, oh my word, it's so hard to find anything. And you could have gone in there with a list, and I don't think that would have helped. I mean, when I was in the queue to pay, there was two girls in front of me, and one of the girls said to the other girl, she was like, oh, did you manage to get everything you wanted? She was like, oh, I've got quite a long list of books I like. So, you know, I did manage to knock a few of those off. And I just thought, how have you done that? Because oh my word, there's just books everywhere. There's basically, you get upstairs, the left half is the children's half. So I pretty much avoided that because I don't have any kids. I'm not looking for children's books. And the right hand side is just adult fiction. And then there's a downstairs as well, which I heard somebody say was non-fiction. And so I thought, well, I'm not here for non-fiction. It isn't non-fiction. There is a fair amount of fiction downstairs as well. And it's not organised by like fiction and non-fiction. Like some of the aisles are the same. Like there was definitely a comic aisle, which is like between the kids and adult fiction. I'm giving you some explanation here in case you go, because I would have liked a little bit more directions. So you've got this comics aisle, you've then got adult fiction. There was a aisle that was clearly science fiction and fantasy, and that was busy, and that aisle was really poorly placed because there was a big like industrial pole that filled up half that aisle, and the aisles are only big enough for people to pass. So if people are stopping looking at stuff, which I can absolutely understand why you would, because you don't even know what's in the aisle, you can't get past people. And for someone like me who is claustrophobic with social anxiety, I found it quite difficult. And then also the guy was basically being like, you have to be out of here by 6. So even as soon as I got in there at 4:30, he was, because you can spend in theory as long there as you want. Would I recommend that? No, because you make life really hard for the people behind you. But you needed longer than I was in there. And the guy was like, you have to be out by 6 and start making your way to pay now. And I was like, I haven't even looked at anything. So it was not an enjoyable shopping experience, I have to say. And it was just like, if there was like a big family or a big group blocking the aisle, you couldn't get in the aisle, you know? My camera is a little bit wonky, so I'm sorry. We're on a little bit of an angle, but yeah. So I just didn't love that. But I did end up with a couple of things, but 2 of them I picked up on a final table. So I'm not. Anyway. So the first thing I picked up was The Lies of Locke Lamora by Scott Lynch. This is a book that Stuart really loves. My friend Sarah really loves. So Stuart, like I was like, I cannot come out of here. I'd walked up and down these aisles for a little while and I had nothing. You know, I was hoping for like, you know, this is the kind of stuff I read, right? I read romance. And there weren't a lot of romance in there. And if there was, I don't know where it was. And typically it was like Jenny Colgan and Katie Ford, like UK authors, which is absolutely fine, but that's typically what it was. And I was like, I cannot have queued out there for an hour and a half, and it was freezing. Like, I loved the fact I was reading for that solid time. As I say, I got 100 pages in my book. That's great, but it was freezing, absolutely freezing. So I was like, I can't have done that and not get anything. So when I saw this, I have no desire to read this right now, but the fact that it was like 70 to 80% off, I was like, do you know what? I'm going to get it because it is a book that Stuart talks about all the time. So I think it's a good option. In terms of what it's about, I'm going to have to read the blurbs of these books to you because I don't actually know what they are. So this is not going in my brain. I've had a busy day. In fact, do you know what? I'm not going to talk about the blurbs because I'll explain what we've done today, but my brain is... she's switched off. Anyway, so Lies of Locke Lamora. And then I picked up one romance that I saw, which I've never heard of, which is called A Cosmic Kind of Love by Samantha Young. I have no idea whether anyone likes this. I mean, this is the author of The Spanish Love Deception, which I haven't read. It's a romance that is with like a NASA astronaut and how he deals with like coming back to Earth, and then he's getting sent videos from, oh no, the girl is getting sent videos from an ex-boyfriend. I don't really know. As I say, brain is switched off. But you didn't even have time to read the blurbs. You know, I was like scanning and I was like, the cover looks like something I would like. I didn't have time to look stuff up on Goodreads. So stressful. But I picked that up and, you know, you know what's going to happen. I'm going to like look on Goodreads and that's going to be like a 2-star. But anyway, I got that. And then there are a couple of tables like in the aisles, which are this camera angle is like definitely so jaunty, isn't it? Oh dear, this is a chaos clip. I can feel it. Can we go back a bit? No, we're gonna be kind of forward. Okay, I like this angle a lot less than the one before. It's fine. So anyway, in some of the aisles, they have these big tables where I think people just dump books when, you know, they probably pick up a lot of stuff. They're not 100% sure if they'll buy it and they just dump things. And they don't like you doing that. And they have signs that tell you not to do that, but people clearly do. But those were actually, for me, the best places to look for books because so for example, The Roommate was on there, which is by Rosie Dane. And I have that. That's a book I like. So there are books I would like in this place. I just couldn't find them. So, you know, that was like another, you know, it was just hard. But Holly Martin is one of my favourite romance authors. For a long time was definitely my favourite romance author because I used to exclusively read on my Kindle. Her books are like $1.99 on Kindle. I don't actually have a Kindle. I would read them on my iPad. But I know I like Holly Martin. So I decided to pick these two up because they're two Holly Martin books. I don't actually own any physical Holly Martin books, I don't think. So I thought, do you know what? I'm just going to grab those because they're there. Even though, no, I don't think you can. I've never really seen Holly Martin. I'm sure she must be in the works. And maybe I've just been like, oh, I would read them on ebook, but that's fine. It's fine. I didn't want to leave with nothing having been there. I didn't want to buy a ton of things that I didn't need. I think we've half done that. That was what I very specifically didn't want to do because a lot of people have massive boxes of stuff and I didn't want to have massive boxes of stuff. I wanted to be intentional, but you needed more time than I had to be intentional. So I only did half an hour in there. I got in at 4:30 and I got in the car with Stuart at 5. So I also paid in that time. So yeah, if you ask me, would I recommend the experience? I don't know because ultimately they don't want a ton of people to go there. I think it's like too much promotion for them. It's kind of ruining the experience for everyone that does know about it. But also it's really difficult to find books in there. Like people were coming out and the people in front of me were like, is it worth it, ladies? And they were like, absolutely. And like, I'm sure it is, but if you wanted kids books, I think it's well worth it. If you were looking to buy cheap kids books, there were so many kids books. I think that's absolutely worthwhile, you know, particularly as your children are not going to like the same books for all of their age group. And that's, you know, I can absolutely see why it would benefit a parent to go there. But for people of my age and who are childless, I don't know because it was just so chaotic. I think if you're a personality like me, I think if you were willing to like comb every aisle, you weren't going to be impacted by the fact that like if people are standing behind you, it wouldn't bug you. If you'd got there earlier than I'd got there, but then I would not have stood in that queue for 4 hours. Like I wouldn't stand in a 4-hour queue at Disney. So I'm not going to stand in a 4-hour queue to get in a book warehouse. But you know, it was cheap. So you pay like a £2 membership. So, and the total that I paid was £13. So I paid like £11 for these 4 books. So in that respect, it's well worth it. The Works is pretty cheap. If you're in the UK, the Works has really good deals on books, but you're probably paying like £3 to £5 for most books in the Works. So I guess that would be like 3 of them. So this was slightly cheaper than the Works, but I think you can pick up pretty good deals in the Works, and that's a significantly less stressful shopping experience. So anyway, if you want to check it out, it's called the 66 Book Club. It's based in Hemel Hempstead. If I had travelled halfway across the country, I also don't know what I would have felt about it. Like, I think the people there are lovely. They are clearly very stressed and overwhelmed. I think they were doing an absolutely cracking job. I have to say, I think the staff there are wow. And I said that to the people at checkout. The woman kept apologising to me for waiting. And I was like, please don't apologise. Like, I knew there was going to be a queue. But she kept apologising. And I was just like, please don't. Like, it's so not your fault. And they were just absolutely brilliant. So I cannot fault them enough, but I don't know that it's how I would choose to shop for books. So that's what I would say. I think it's, you know, a certain type of person would absolutely get so much out of it, but I don't know. I have a £2 membership now. I could go again if I wanted to because it lasts for a whole year, but I don't know that I will. But part of me wants to go there when it's quieter and you want to be able to comb the aisles, but I just don't know that the experience will ever go that way again because of the promotion they have on social media and how many more people know it exists now. So that's what I don't know. But anyway, that was my Saturday. So when I got back, we were pretty tired. We ate a burrito, and then I had a bath, washed my hair. I used gel on my hair yesterday for the first time in ages, and it has come out curlier. So it's a reminder to myself that if I use styling products, my hair will look a little bit put together than it does normally. So yeah, and then my mum came to stay because today we went to the wedding show at the Excel. I really wanted to go and see a lot of dresses in one place because it's just really hard. If I'm not surrounded by wedding dresses, a lot of my friends are not married, and so I haven't had a lot of experience in what different wedding dresses are like. So, you know, me and my mum really wanted to go there, and we went with my friend Emma as well. And it was a really useful experience in that it is the biggest collection of wedding dresses I've ever seen in one room. And so it was really helpful to see different wedding dresses. They had like a catwalk that you could watch. Ultimately, I think they mispicked a lot of the models were very slim, and that I don't think reflected the brides that were in the room, and it was not particularly diverse, and I didn't love that. But also the dresses that were picked, more than anything, were like quite edgy, and I was like, I just don't think this is what people are actually wanting in a wedding dress, because it wasn't actually reflective of what the wedding dress places were actually selling. So anyway, but it was really helpful. We found some dresses, kind of styles and stuff that we think I might like, some materials I might like. We ruled a couple of things out, so very helpful in that respect. But it was so loud, and like, as you can probably tell, I don't do well in crowds or when things are noisy. And it was just, I work at the Excel quite often for my job, so it's not like I've never been there or don't know what it's like. I've worked an event that was as busy as this like a week ago, but it was a lot. And you know, I'm very grateful to my mum and Emma for sticking with me, because there were times where my brain, I feel like it just shut down. But, you know, I think it was worth us going. I'm glad we went. We did upgrade when we were there. So originally I'd only bought a standard entry tickets, because to be honest, the website isn't clear about what you get. And mostly it just looked like you get a glass of bubbly, and I don't drink alcohol. So I was like, I'm not paying an extra, like, it was quite a lot more for the VIP ticket. But we did end up upgrading to VIP on the day, because you could get seated for the catwalk. And I'm going into detail about this in case any of you are planning to get married, because you would only go to this sort of thing once, hopefully, right? So I'm trying to give as much information as I can before you go. But yeah, it was like kind of, it was useful to be able to sit down at the catwalk, even just for a bit of a break. And you got so many freebies. Like, let me just show you how much you get. This is just a bag from one of the boutiques, but it's very cute. But everybody got like a free bag. And then if you were VIP, you got a tote bag. And there's just like, I mean, we've got about 6 bottles of hand sanitizer. You get like free makeup sponges. We've got some body butter. You've got like some lipstick and stuff. There's like perfume samples. Like, there's so many bits and pieces. So in that respect, like I think Emma was saying, she was like, it was well worth the upgrade. So yeah, you get a lot of stuff, loads of leaflets, but some of it's so random, like a vegan protein bar. HelloFresh were there. So in that respect, it was a bit bizarre, but yeah, really useful. And I think, like, you know, me, Mum and Emma have like gone away with some ideas for dresses and stuff. So I think it was well worth going. So it is now 6:26 on Sunday. I am absolutely knackered and I need to be really quiet now. I've been quite animated during this clip, and it's taken all the last of my energy. So I've ordered a roast, which is on its way. I'm going to eat my roast dinner and I'm going to just have a chill out. I'm probably going to carry on reading Hang the Moon, which is the second book in the Written in the Stars series by Alexandra Belfer, and I'm really, really liking the second one. I knew I was going to like it more than the first one, but it's very much what I wanted it to be. So that's great. So I'm going to close out this vlog here, as it's Sunday. Thank you so much for watching another one. My first one hasn't been posted yet, my first one back, so I have no idea whether you liked it or not. And this one's quite different, so I don't really know what you will think of it, but I really appreciate you watching. If you did enjoy this video, I would really appreciate a like. If you haven't already, I would love it if you'd subscribe to my channel. You can find links in the description to my Instagram and Goodreads and stuff like that. Otherwise, I'll see you in my next video.